Welcome back to the podcast. Guys, we're going to talk about really a fun topic, and today's guest is the whisperer, right? When entrepreneurs are looking for the way to expand their business, that secret entity, that secret person is going to really whisper in their ear how to get customers, how to go out to the marketplace, how to find the right customers and clients for them and their business. They call Mark Donnigan. He's the entrepreneurial whisperer. He's the CMO for companies, and we're going to talk a little bit about how he does that and what he does for companies, and why entrepreneurs go to him for this advice and this guidance and support. And if you're an entrepreneur, having someone like this in your pocket really brings lots and lots of a gift. So with that, Mark, I'm so proud to have you on the show. Welcome to the show, brother.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. We laid out, I think, an excellent outline of discussion here. So can't wait to launch into it.
Entrepreneurs go through this whole thing. They got great ideas, ready to go. I'm excited about my product. I got this thing, and they start, and they're sitting in the office, and the phone's not ringing. Oh my God, I've got this great product. I haven't sold it. Now I got bills to pay. I got these people I want to employ. This is the bright idea. So I need to go out there and find some customers.
Yeah, it's the if I build it, they will come. That's what I call it. It's a field of dreams, right? It is so common, actually. And in my observation, I mean, we've all heard the statistics of startup failures. And candidly, maybe they vary a little bit from kind of your traditional tech startups, in Silicon Valley to the corner restaurant. But I think it's kind of similar. It's like tech startup fails at kind of the same rate as a corner restaurant. Maybe the corner restaurant even has longer life expectancy. Here's what's interesting is I don't work with restaurants so much, but I do work with tech startups. Many years. It's where I focus my career. My observation is that today many startups fail. Not because the product didn't work, the technology didn't work. Yes, that happens. Absolutely. There's the moonshot. They raise some money, they have this great idea, and they can just never quite get it to work. Well, obviously, you're not going to have a business, right? But that actually is really few and far between. Most of the time, failure is because the entrepreneur, the founder, the executive team did not put the same care into engineering the market and their go-to-market and their marketing as they did the product. So they spend, 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, however long it takes them, to get that incredible invention out the door. They get it built, and then 3 weeks, 3 months, maybe at best 6 months before launch, somebody says, well, hey, how are we going to market this? How are we going to sell this? And that's where the failure happens. So I come in and help founders that might find themselves in that situation, and they're scrambling.
So you get that 911 call. You're the one they go to, right? 911. I got this problem. We're not making. I got to pay people, and I got this idea. Right. I'm ready to go to marketplace. I want to serve my customers, but how do I get to my customers, Mark? Right? I mean, why isn't the phone ringing? Why do I not have sales, Mark?
Yeah. So, a lot of times and this sounds simple, and it really is, but it's a failure of really understanding who that customer is, who that buyer is. And then there's even one extra level to that you could peel back, and you could say, okay, even if I know who the buyer is, do I really understand what they're, hiring my product to do? Now that's a reference to Jobs to Be Done, which is, a real popular framework. And I think an excellent way to look at, strategy, and to look at, how to solve this issue of how do I position? What do I say about my product? But the point is that it starts with knowing who the customer is. And everybody is tempted to say, but we can sell to everybody. And never. I don't really like making definitive statements, but But
You're an idiot.
but
That's it. They're an idiot. They're an
yeah,
idiot.
but how many times have you heard that? Oh,
Well,
but you know
you're
what?
broke.
We so
They're
so
broke.
yeah.
They're broke and making bad decisions. I mean,
Yes, yes,
this is the
that's
key to
absolutely true.
bad entrepreneurship. You're
Yeah, yeah,
broke. You become desperate. You start
yep,
you go for
yep,
the Hail Mary customers.
yep.
And that's something that people don't understand is that go back to that. You need to
Engineer the market, and I really love the word engineering, and I do work with primarily technical founders, so they think in terms of it. They're often engineers themselves, but engineering has intent, right? When you engineer a solution, you're not just sort of throwing ideas out there. You're not, it's not like, whoa, we're going to do this, that, and the other. And, I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do it, but that's what we're going to do. Like, no, engineering, there's intent. There's very specific plan. There's, and sure, there might be a few things in there that we're going to have to figure out along the way. Right. But, you don't just build a bridge by just starting to stack bricks, like you engineer it, you're out there measuring so there's a process to it.
So you engineer. What does it mean to engineer the marketplace? So let's go through that.
Yeah.
So like, where do you start? What's the idea? What's the path of engineering a marketplace?
Yeah, it's a great question. So how do you do it? Is really what you're asking. Okay, great, Mark. So how do you do that? Well, the first thing is you need to back up and you need to clearly define and have a very, very clear reference to what is the problem that my product is either uniquely able to solve. In other words, there aren't really too many or maybe any other solutions in the market, and I have one. Or maybe there's a lot of other solutions, but we have a special insight or ability, or maybe I'm able to solve the problem 3x faster, 2x cheaper. There's some angle. Right. So what we need to do is we need to, first of all, get very, very clear on the problem, and then come up with a very short description or explanation of how we do it. Okay, so it starts there. And if you try and shortcut that, then your messages that you put into the market are going to just be all comparison. And I like to say,
so give me that. Wait, hold on. Let's give me that. I don't want to rush over that because I feel like if I rush over that, our audience will get it. So just kind of give me that in smaller bites.
Yeah. Okay. So, so you have built a product, right?
Yep.
So you built this product. Now, obviously, from day one what the app, what it does, right? And so it does a certain set of things, and and it's very clear. Like, okay, someone would use that product and those functions to achieve these tasks. All
right. So let me use an example. So CDO Group, we're a construction company and a construction management firm. So we have two essential tasks we do. One, we are a general contractor, and two, we're a program manager. So these are our tasks, right? So this is us as a company, and these are the things. It might be you're a catering company. You might be that you're a software company. So this is the task that my product handles.
Yep. Yeah. And so you have to, though, go deeper than just the tasks. Like, what is the problem? So for example, your customer, they could also build a construction management function.
That's right. That's right.
So why should they hire you?
Right. So
so this is where getting clear on that, though. So you want to get super clear on that. So it could be that in your particular, and I don't know anything about construction, so you'll have to complete some of these sentences for me. But it could be that if I'm building airports, I just randomly picked that, okay, yes, there, it's a huge project, I can imagine. And there's going to be a team, but there's a need for some trusted partners, because either you need more project managers than what you can possibly hire, so that could be it, and I'm just making stuff up on the fly.
I got it.
But the point is, The point is that you have to get crystal clear on what is the problem that your core market, your core audience, the customer, the ideal customer profile, right? ICP. What's that problem? And then you put the messaging, you develop messaging about how you solve that problem. So you don't go out there and say, hey, we're a construction management company. We work with, projects from 3 million to, 100 million in budget. And in this region of and hey, hire us. We're great. We've got, 55 people on staff or whatever it is. Instead, what you do is you go out there and you say, you know what? We understand, not just we understand the unique challenges of building airports. Okay, everybody's going to say that, right? All your competitors. But we understand that what you need is, and then you fill in the blank and you describe so that somebody who is your ICP is going to go, wow, these people know my business. Number one, they know me. If they know me, maybe they can actually help me. And then you begin to build a go-to-market engine, a marketing engine. Your sales team aligns to this. And now you're walking into discussions with something more than just, oh, we're 35 years old. We have this, we have that. We have this number of people. We work in these states. We work, we've done these projects, hey, we're really good guys, and so that is the first thing when it gets to engineering, when we talk about engineering, is to get to that level of specificity. Now, people listening right now go, well, of course, that's obvious. And yet I just encourage, go look at your website and try and remove all bias and everything and say, if I didn't know who we were and I went to our website, would any of this come through? Or would it be, we're this old, we have this many offices, we have this many people, we're here, we're there, and
are you so hold on. So when we're doing this, we want to make sure our website messaging and our marketing messaging are all issues the same thing. So get to understand the customer, I guess we always call it selling to their pain. What is it your customer needs? What's the solution you're solving for that person? Right. I mean, like for us, hey, we need projects turned over on time, on budget. We have flexibility in our development schedule. You're the solution that can be flexible. It's 10 projects today, 100 projects tomorrow. You've got, we've done thousands and thousands. We understand how to do their level projects at their speed.
Yeah.
And ultimately what their companies are looking for. So once we get to understand the customer, is what you're saying?
Yep.
Now make sure that we're selling to their need.
Yes. Yes, because for example, I'm just assuming that there could be other types of projects. There could be some types of construction projects. Again, it's just an assumption. I have no idea. You might say,
no. We're very particular. Like we have one kind of for us, and my guess is that's the thing we've boiled down to is we can't say yes. We in fact. We say no to more people than we say yes to. A guy just grabbed me at lunch. He's like, "Hey, can you remodel my kitchen?" I'm like, "No, we don't do that. We do a very particular type of project, right? We do construction, commercial construction rollout. People that are doing 50 or more projects a year. In this range price wise, in these marketplaces, we have a very particular customer profile that fits our systems well."
Yeah. So absolutely. And I'm going to assume that everyone listening in their businesses, they also have a customer profile, that fits, whatever it is that they do, they're bringing to market, the value that they bring to market. And yet my point is that if we all look at our collective, our websites and our online marketing materials, which might be through LinkedIn or other social platforms or, email newsletters, whatever, billboards, depending on the business you're in, odds are good that the messaging is high level and basically says, hey, we're better, faster, cheaper. And guess what? Because everybody in the market is saying that, the consumer, our target customer client is scratching their head going, how do I make a decision? Like, help me buy. This is what I mean about the engineering, but it requires this rigorous, analysis or almost like an audit, and believe me, it's a little sobering. because,
Well,
you
but I
know,
see something, but here,
some of it you're going to say, yeah, that's way off point. Oh, but we love it. Well, but it's not serving us well. So.
so how do you get? So you're look. The website stuff is, I feel like a cat chasing a laser pointer. Like literally, I went over here, over here. Every day, I'm in flux. Literally as a founder of companies, I get hit over the head all day long with somebody walking in my office and telling me, this is, if you do this, this is your, it's about the same level of crap I get about health. If this week's health thing is to do this, and next week, it's the same thing in marketing with me. I listen, I love marketing. I got brand awareness. We have great brand awareness, but it does feel a little bit like I'm spinning in the wind.
Yeah.
Right. So how do we like in today's world? I mean, I've spent millions of dollars. I mean, I'm not saying millions of dollars on social media. And
well, let's talk about,
okay.
So let's talk about where your buyers are.
Yeah.
So strip away any thought about, like marketing campaigns to reach them. Just, and you tell me. So we're going to do a little consulting session here. Where are your buyers? Like if you're going to fly, is there one place that you could fly 2 times a year and you're like, you know what, 50% of the guys and the men and women I want to sell to are going to be there? Or is there, so I'm asking you a question, like where are your buyers?
Got it. So there are some conventions that are old school, and the old buyers are going there. Today's buyers are changing, right? Their bosses aren't letting them go to shows. They're not letting them go to these events.
That's
so a
true
lot
of all industries, by the way.
They've stripped away a lot of the, hey, let's go to this, so for us in the construction retail world, there was always, there's maybe 4 or 5 really big conventions, and I could count on, seeing those folks there. We would, make a big deal out of it, wine and dine them, set up, we'd set up every convention. Our goal is to have at least 30 great meetings set up before we get there. Yeah. Right. And then when we're there, we're doing those 30 plus whatever we farm fish while we're there. Right. And then the follow-up's really the key to it, is really making sure that on the backside, we have this follow-up thing. So marketing in front to get to know where they're there. Like I hate it when our people go to a convention or a show and they fish. They just walk, I call it fishing, sit out there with a bobber waiting for a fish to come bite the line. I'm like, you know what they're going to do? They're going to get drunk. They're going to go party and play golf. And then no one's going to get any work done. And then your chance where all the buyers are at, you're walking around not having, you have no appointment, so they don't want to see you. So now you're trying to get time with them, and you've wasted this opportunity.
Yeah. So the reason why I ask where they are is that there can be, physical locations, which I'm not surprised at all. I can imagine, believe me, conventions, trade shows, conferences still have a place. There's a lot of discussion in marketing channels. Are events relevant? Should we still go to trade shows? For the most part, the answer is yes. Now, it doesn't mean you take the biggest booth. It doesn't mean you even have to take a booth. But you need to be there. So there's a physical location, but there's the digital location as well. And I'm going to get to your comment about you've spent a lot of money on social, and it's maybe questionable. What have I gotten out of that? So one of the problems with the digital, so the physical platforms, it sounds like you got that wired. Like, hey, you set it, you go in with meetings, you keep your sales team to a very tight rein. Look, you're not just there to, kind of hang out and hope somebody walks by. Like you are there, you're hunting, you have meetings, you're, like there's a schedule. Okay, great. And there's sometimes more you can do around that, but let's set the physical events aside. Online is where it can feel really like, water just kind of flowing through your hands, like what am I getting here? And here's one of the possible reasons why that is because digital billboards saying, set a meeting with us, we're great, don't work. Okay. But let me tell you, Google, even LinkedIn, a lot of the marketing automation tools do a phenomenal job of giving you the idea that this is how modern marketing works. Hey, don't buy a billboard aside the road, buy it, where you can reach everybody in the universe on the internet. Does not work. So what does work? So here's what works. take your podcast, which you've got, take your podcast and start inviting on senior executives from your customers. But do not have them talk about you. No. It is not. And first of all, some won't even be comfortable doing that, and be like, oh, okay, but have them come on and start building the number one podcast for the construction industry, commercial construction industry. Build the number one. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean, maybe guys like me don't pop on from time to time. I'm not saying it's only, but make it, double, triple down, but bring your customers on. Give them a platform. And then here's what you do. You use that to begin to expand and build a community. And the community starts out as a LinkedIn group. Now, this is a play that I executed very, very well in the video technology space. And it even led to a company IPOing, led to some really, really, really fabulous outcomes. But you begin to build a community. And here's the purpose of the community. This is the best analogy I found for it. It's like if you've got kind of a cool house, but you have a famous friend, who hangs out with, movie stars, rock stars, whatever.
Yeah.
But I want to be the host of the party. Why? Because nobody knows me. I'm not famous, but I got a little bit of a cool house. Maybe I just go with the analogy, and everybody wants to meet the host of the party. So guess who basically gets introduced to every single person in the room by doing nothing more than just hanging out in the corner, smiling, having conversations. Hey, thanks for coming. Hey, I don't have to go work the room, because guess what? At some point throughout the night, everybody who comes through is going to want to meet the host. Hey, this house is cool. Hey, this is a cool party. Man, this is a great crowd. Oh, hey, go meet Mark. Here, he's over here. Here, come, and so what you want to do is you want to be the host of the party. If you're the host of the party, now just naturally conversations begin to ensue. Oh, hey. And all of a sudden you find yourself in conversations that maybe it would have been really hard to set up, if you're trying to force it, and they just happen. Why? Because when you're adding value to the industry, to the market, to the ecosystem, at some point people say, maybe I need to talk to these guys about my project, and this is how modern marketing works. And you know what I just described? Costs zero in ad dollars, but there is an investment. But this is not buying LinkedIn ads, and it certainly is not buying Facebook ads. So if the strategy is, hey, we're going to invest money and we're going to get a bunch of signups and we're going to, it doesn't necessarily mean you stop doing it, but you certainly probably don't do it at the same level. Instead, what you do is you buy ads that promote content that then open up a conversation window for somebody to say, wow, I need to listen to more of that podcast. There was a ton of value that dropped there. And then in time, your phone's going to ring. And it sounds soft. It sounds like, okay, that's kind of all true. Okay, great. Another one of those marketing things, like, just trust me, it's going to work. This is how buyers make decisions today.
Mark, I hear you say that. I hear you say that, but I'm the guy in the seat who's got, 9 companies, and I have spent, I've heard, I get this, don't worry, just keep building.
So you don't like marketing. I love marketing.
No. What I think is, truth is, I think most salespeople are pussies. They don't want to get on the goddamn phone and just call people.
Then you got the wrong salespeople.
No, here's a problem. Most salespeople.
I agree with you. By the way,
they want to get on the phone and have the phone. They want the internet to do the work. They have to pick up the damn phone and call the guy, call the lady, call the customer.
But we're talking.
But they want the internet to do the work for them. People have gotten lazy. Stop being lazy. Get the phone, call them, build a relationship.
Now we're talking about a sales. Now we're talking about a sales challenge, though. I was not saying that the podcast is going to drive.
Send them something. Send them something. Sarah, you want to be marketing? Send them a brochure to ask them for a meeting to call them.
Nobody's gonna. They're gonna open the envelope. They're gonna throw it on their desk and never look at it again.
Some guy just walked in my office. Some guy just walked in my office for insurance and brought me a basket with a book in it. And he called me every single day. And here, look, I'm telling you, I don't even know who the company is, but like it's been sitting on my desk, and I'm like, I don't even know what they sell, but I feel like I got to call a guy, right?
That's
so
right. That's right.
I'm guessing $10, maybe $20 on this little basket. And he walked in my office.
That's creative. But the problem is that so that works in like a local context. But how and again, look, here's the problem with this discussion is that we have to start by clearly defining, what's the market you're in, where do you sell to, where are your buyers, and so what I'm describing is is more of a technology, maybe more of an online, more of a if you're like, look, Mark, I do projects in Phoenix. Maybe occasionally I go to Tucson, all right, it's a different strategy, right? But interestingly enough, you could still build a community. You're just going to do it face to face. Maybe you're going to do a monthly meetup. Maybe you're going to, and maybe you use the podcast. Maybe you still podcast and you kind of go with that strategy because that serves to reinforce the fact that you guys are innovative, So, but it depends. I work exclusively with tech-funded technology startups. These are people doing, like a minimum annual license deal is $1 million, and there's deep integration. And so it's exactly, but what we're talking about here,
hold on. No one's buying $1 million deal on a Facebook ad. But I mean, no one's buying. They don't give a shit about your Facebook,
right.
Your Instagram. They don't give a shit anything about the social. They're buying $1 million on. You're talking to their CIO and going, hey, look, here's how we're making your people more productive. You guys, as a company, you want to expand and do 600 units. No one can find information. So you're selling to a high level. So somebody's reaching out and creating that. Now, what here, this is where it's confusing. And look, I don't know if you believe in the same thing, but I keep getting all these salespeople that want to stop. They think that's they confuse marketing with online marketing. Now, marketing's great. Look, we have to get brand awareness, brand identity, creating the image, calling someone up and saying, "Hey, here's what we do," right? And then turning that into a sales process, right? There's value there. Someone who's calling that CIO going, look, we've got the software. It's going to help you become $1 billion organization, right? Here's the companies we've done it for. This is why they love it. Here's proof in the pudding. Here's a marketing strategy we put together that show McDonald's does it. IBM does it. ABC does it. And here's what they say about our software. Now that I get. The problem is that today's sales guys, they want you to throw some magic wand out there and go, well, they're going to come to me. And I feel like that's not marketing. That's just laziness.
Well, I can't help that. I mean, if a founder can't build a sales team, there is no marketing that's going to help it.
So how do we help those sales guys?
Super frank.
Yeah.
They need to read some of these books. They need to become students again. I mean, like, look, I started as a seller. In fact, I often, kind of make the comment, I'm a revenue first marketer, revenue first marketing leader. Now, I will make another observation. There are way too many marketers and marketing leaders who forget that their job is to ring the dang cash register.
Bam. Bam.
So I mean, this conversation is on both sides.
That's right.
I would actually give the observation and just to, kind of pull on this thread, a little bit more, there's a lot of, in marketing circles, there's a lot of talk about how the CMO chair is like revolving every 18 months. It's like CMOs getting fired and new one comes in. And yet What does almost every CMO do in their very first day on the job, or their first three months, 6 months? Oh, we need a branding exercise. The logo
first thing,
sucks.
right out there. We need a
The
branding
website.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got to, we need new T-shirts. Oh, the trade show, this swag, this stinks. Like, nobody wants this. That is not what, and as much as it is creative, the insurance guy, brings a gift basket in, and for local insurance and all that, hey, you know what? That probably makes sense. But there's still technology companies who will pay you. They'll give you $100 Amazon gift card to just watch a demo.
Right.
Zero intent.
That's right.
I mean, literally, if you were bored and just wanted to collect Amazon gift cards, like you probably could make a couple grand a month just sitting on, just, hey, I'll take your 30-minute meeting. By the way, here's my email address, send the Amazon card to, and you've got them on mute. You're not even paying attention. You're doing email, while they're doing their thing. I mean, it's ridiculous. And yet this is a play that too many marketing teams are executing. So there's a failure on both sides. I would argue your observation on sales is absolutely correct. I've seen that, but I'd argue that on the marketing side, it's true too. How do you solve that? Well, number one, it starts with the leader, right? So, if there's a sales team that's not executing and isn't out hunting and believes that everything should just come to them and everything should be pre-screened and teed up and ready to go, fundamentally, need a new new sales head, and then on the flip side, if marketing is all about branding and pretty pictures and buying Facebook ads, you need a new marketing strategy and a new marketing head, because, maybe you still do those things. I want to be clear. It's not that, running Facebook ads, no, you should never do that. But if that's the primary strategy, in a lot of cases, it's failed,
Yeah, I think you're right on there. If we can get that piece where, we have a sales team that will do, the marketing really, the looking for the easier, softer way makes me bananas with salespeople, right? That somehow or another you can give up the work. That maybe someday in the future there is some technology that can take some of the heavy lifting out of the picking up the phone, calling your customer, knowing the marketplace, who are the buyers. That part you started with is who are the buyer, who the buyer is, where is that buyer, and how do I get a hold of them? Right. You started with that idea, and I think that's right on. What we're noticing is that today marketing people think is this, going out and yelling at the world, that, putting the billboards up and putting the Facebook ads out. And they're trying to market to 100% of the people. And there's only, a 0.3% that want your service. And you're wasting your time. You're spitting in the wind, and you think that, I'm spending all this money doing all this stuff, I must be doing something. You're like, no, you're bullshitting yourself. Take that same money and have people spend time.
But this is the engineering. This gets
that's right.
Back to my main point is that if you're engineering, then there's also one way to tell if a marketing leader or a marketing team is engineering their efforts versus just kind of like, well, we're kind of smattering across everything. It's kind of almost random. One way to tell, the simplest way to tell, is to say, hey, so, you can say, hey, Mark, hey, got a question. So, I approved the budget. We're spending 10 grand a month on Facebook ads. Tell me, it's not what are we getting for the 10 grand, but why are we doing it? You ask the why question. Now, marketers are used to answering the what do we get for it. If you ask the what do we get for the 10 grand, they're going to go, well, last month we had this many visits to our website and this many people filled out a form and we provided this many qualified leads to sales. And we believe that 50% of those came as a result, the traffic came as a result of, Facebook. So, it's like $200 per lead, but that's actually pretty good. Our industry average is $500. And you as a CEO or founder are kind of going, okay, I guess that makes sense. I don't really necessarily have a way to fact check, but all right. And so then they keep doing it, and it's a totally failed strategy. Instead, what you want to do is you want to say, not what do we get for it, but why? So you say, hey, Mark, fine. I'm not even challenging the 10,000. It's in the budget. We already discussed it, but why are we doing it? Can you explain to me why? And you will be shocked at how they'll get stumped. Yeah, like, I mean, well, of course, everybody's on Facebook, and and you're kind of going, you mean that's your best? Like, everybody's on Facebook? Like, why? Like, and then you probe, and if you're not getting crisp, clear, thought out answers, now you may disagree with them. That's okay. Then you can have a debate and a discussion. But if it's kind of like, well, everybody's on Facebook, and and this is a part of the playbook, and our competitors are all doing it, and
yeah, but that's the horse shit that everybody tells me. Do what they stop with here. Most marketing, most marketing people are stop listening. You are not everybody, and everybody doesn't. Most people don't know their ass from a hole to ground. Right? Most people that are asking you to tell you this advice have never run a business, have never paid for marketing. They're listening to some crap that they don't know, and I'm looking at it going, you got to go back to where you're talking about. Where are your customers? So the men and women that buy your services, right? Where are they at? And how do you communicate to that person? What shows, what phone numbers, what email addresses? Now, what do I send them? Am I sending them? There's a guy, his name is Al Taff. Al Taff's been sending me an email every Friday for 20 years. I get it right here. I'll be getting it anytime now. It usually come right around 3 o'clock.
Clockwork.
I met Al once. I met Al at a convention in Vegas, and I'm like, you're the guy who's been sending me an email every Friday. It's got 2 cartoons on it. It's got a little market analysis about what's going on with the marketplace on the real estate construction world. And it's just a small little thing, but he's consistent. He sends it out every single week around 3 o'clock on Fridays. And there's something about consistency there, right? So you kind of know who he is and what he does, and his messaging is the same. So there might be some value in.
And you said, sorry for cutting you off, but there's a very important point that you made that I think is it will get lost. So that's why I'm cutting you off. You even know roughly 3 o'clock on a Friday, and I am guessing that you know his name. You met him at some point. Maybe it was just serendipitous, random, or maybe, he requested me, whatever. It doesn't matter. But the point is that I'm assuming you don't open every single email, right?
No, I usually read the 2 cartoons. He's got 2 cartoons at the top of it. So if I'm flipping through it, right, it's got 2, they're 2 silly cartoons. It reminds me of when I was a kid.
But here's the point. Here's the point to be made, though, is that, okay, maybe you do open every single one because you kind of know the format, whatever. But maybe you read one a little more in depth because you have time that week. Maybe another one you just kind of open on your phone, and you close it, you swipe on. The point is, you're not like consuming every single email. But what happens is that consistent. You remember his name. You at least based on what you're telling me here, you have a generally positive feeling about this person, and I have no idea what his company does, and whatever. But so the moment that you have a need and it fits, who are you going to call? In fact, maybe you won't even call anyone else. And unless he gives you some crazy price or tell, like he kind of gets the business, right? And now, that can't be his only tactic because he's been sending it to you for 20 years and presumably you haven't worked together yet. So he needs other methods. But you know what? If we have enough of these channels, and if they're intelligent, and if they intersect with where our buyer is, that is a pretty good engine behind, growing a business. And that business could be a consultant, kind of a 1-person band. It could be a company. It could be a huge company, it could be a vendor, it could be, whatever. But, and that's the way modern marketing works.
All right. So as we start to look at crafting an effective go-to-market strategy, give me, as I start to, let's go through the ABCs of crafting that go-to-market strategy.
Yeah. So let's first of all start by what is go-to-market. And go-to-market is more than just the sales process. It is a connection, really. It's sort of an end-to-end process. It starts with the product, literally what the product does, because the product, let's face it, you could execute some flawless, marketing program. You could have literally the best sellers, the best sales team. I mean, everything. But, if your product stinks, or if it doesn't, fit a real need in the market, then, obviously you're not going to be successful. So go to market really starts with a product, but I'm going to just make the assumption for sake of, of focus here and time that we have a product that meets a real market need that, that does what it should do. Right. But I have to make that point, because, there are situations I find myself in. You've probably observed it, in your own market, where, you're like, these guys are doing good marketing, but, geez, it'd be, if their product actually worked, or if their product, was better. So you have to start with the product. So then when you're architecting this whole go to market is, marketing and sales is now kind of a three-strand cord. In other words, it's not, and it is three-strand, because you have product, you have marketing, and you have the sales motion. And the sales motion is literally, do we have a model that is primarily inside sales driven? Do we have account executives who are beating the street? Is it a combination? Is it a marketing led, with kind of a salesperson that comes in at the end? There's different models out there, and it depends on what we're doing. In the case of a SaaS software business, it might be that there's really, only just a handful of account executives in the field, and it's primarily marketing led, what's called product led growth, product led. And then there's kind of an inside sales team. And then there's a handful of execs, going out trying to win the biggest accounts, right? They're in the field. But you have to define again, how does the market buy? How do they want to buy? Because some of this, too many companies I find, they're like, well, we're going to hire a bunch of salespeople. Oh, okay, fine. But what if the market, the way they want to buy, they prefer a different, modality, a different approach? We should be aware of that. And it's just being aware of it.
Yeah.
Now I love Tesla. By the way, Tesla is a great example. So they don't use car dealerships, right? Totally went around the paradigm. Now they had to decide to do that. And guess what? That created a whole bunch of cost and now it had some benefits.
I bought my Tesla in a mall.
Yeah.
I was in a mall. I was
Precisely.
in a shopping center. I was in a shopping center.
I'm in Scottsdale, and you go in the Scottsdale Fashion Square, and there's Tesla, and Lucid is on the other side. I
bought it at a mall. I thought to myself, and the first time I got in the car, the product was so damn good, I could not buy it. Right. So the product.
That's right. But my point is that that's a go-to-market strategy and a decision. And that's a great example. And actually Tesla, I wasn't planning to make this example, but let's go with it, because it's very famous that only recently have they really spent any significant money on marketing. And Elon Musk was very clear, in the early days. It's like, look, the car is the marketing. Like the car is so good, it creates intrigue. The neighbors all want to talk, like, hey, you bought a Tesla. Hey, how do you like it? My brother has a Tesla, right? Let me tell you. And he bought it just like, I don't know, a year and a half ago. I mean, Tesla's been out for 11 years now, or 12 years. But first thing he did on his way home, called me, is describing, telling me how great it is, everything. I mean, to this day, like there's tens of millions of Teslas on the road, and your neighbor gets one, and what do? Pull up, come over. Hey, you want to come see my Tesla? It's like
that's amazing. That's right.
But those were very clear engineered decisions. It wasn't random. It wasn't because, Elon Musk had no idea what he was doing and these people they made a very clear decision. We wanted to go direct to the consumer. We feel dealers, will cut off kind of that direct connection that we want to have with our consumer. And so we're not going to sell through dealerships. We're going to build our own stores. Marketing, we're going to do that by building the best dang product on the road, in its category, and everybody's going to want to talk about it. And everybody, and you can say, well, that's word of mouth. Well, yes, of course that's word of mouth, but it's engineered, it's intention by focusing on the product. That's how you get people talking,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Listen,
so I love that example.
I love that example. I love where you're at. That's why you're the whisperer. That's why you've got this, this.
That's a very interesting description, by the way.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think you've got this. I think you've got this ability to really help, entrepreneurs create marketing plans that aren't just fluff and puff, that they're, you really got a way to help them, generate sales or ultimately generate revenue that helps them be profitable revenue. And Mark, it is a pleasure to get to have you on here. If folks want to get a hold of you and have you and the other part I think that's great about your group is you guys create the plan, but you also not only create a plan, because a lot of us have plans. I mean, knowledge is great.
Yeah, that's right.
But you guys help execute on the plan, right? You guys actually help the entrepreneur and the entrepreneurial company really, execute. You bring a whole team of people that make the plan happen.
Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out, because I observed, if you go to my website, it's growthstage.marketing. So just growth stage, all one word, .marketing. I'm sure the link will be in the show notes. But you go to the website and, I position myself as a virtual CMO, which I am, very much so. I come in, work with founders to solve the problems we just spent the last, 30, 40 minutes talking about. But what I observed was, we'd go through a process and, the founder would say, wow, Mark, this is fabulous. Now, what do I do with this? like my team's not capable of executing, or I don't have a team, or I only have a partial team, or, what do I do with it? So there was an execution gap that I just ran into over and over. And by the way, I'm saying startups, small, medium businesses, it's the same gap, it's, right. And let me tell you, even larger businesses, I've observed gaps. So it's not, like, oh, well, I'm not a startup. And no, you know what, in marketing, and things are shifting so fast that in some cases you might have some very good people in marketing. They're very dedicated. But they just haven't maybe kept up. And so that doesn't necessarily mean you have to replace them, but it does mean that, they need a new playbook. They need to, they need some guidance, maybe even some mentoring. So I built a team, and, we can come in on the graphics, come in and produce content, the writing, social media and digital platforms, experts in that. And it turns out that those are kind of the core things that most companies struggle with. So they sit here and say, Mark, I get it. We need to leverage LinkedIn more, but I'm just sort of every once in a while writing a random post. I don't even have somebody who can write the content. No problem. We can come in. And the difference is that a lot of the kind of the marketing agencies will basically, they're basically selling posts, right? Or blog posts, or they're selling content, but they're not able to go into the depth of what's required in a B2B market. And that's where, we found a unique niche. And, so I'm able to come in, provide guidance. The team, then comes in behind me, under my guidance, and, it works really well. So
I love it. I love it. I love what you do. Mark, I'm going to put all that context down below. I will make sure folks, if you could, let's have a conversation about what are you doing where are your customers? Who is your customer? Where are they? Talk to me about your customer. Yeah. How did you identify who that customer is? And how do you get to your customer? Give me some tactics and techniques that you use to get to your customer in whatever industry you're in. If it's a restaurant or if it's a railroad, I don't care what it is. How do you get to your customer, and how do you communicate with that person and have them get access to you? So let's start that as a discussion. Yeah. Mark, I am grateful for all of the wisdom you bring to the world, and I'm grateful for you being on this podcast today. Thanks for all your great wisdom.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciated it. And it was a very exciting, engaging, a little bit of fireworks.
I love it. Yeah, I love
it.
that. I love that. I feel like we had something people can really think about and get onto that, get onto that, Mark. So I think it's great. Folks, if you get a second, please take a minute and go to Mark's website. We'll put the links down below. And as always, we're so grateful for you listening. Thanks for being here.